Around the Table on Harrison's Original, KHOZ.
Welcome to Around the Table with Dan and Ann.
I know what you did. Somebody's talking.
Somebody's trying to talk over me. I'm going to put a stop to that. Welcome to the show. Welcome to a Thursday edition of Around the Table. Are you
Yes.
Are you with me, Ann?
I'm a little distracted this morning. I apologize.
We're about to take off, and I need my co-pilot
I'm
to
here.
go through the checklist. Do you have your checklist with you? Flaps up. Throttle
I don't have that
at
checklist.
full.
I put on my underwear. I put on my shirts.
Okay.
I put on my pants and my shoes.
In that order?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, basically. Okay.
Basically, yeah.
Underwear's first. Always first. Okay.
That's my checklist for today. I
Whee!
screwed up my checklist this morning, honestly. I was going to go get fasting blood work done and took a big drink of water, which you're not really supposed to do anyway. I took my meds, which I never do before fasting, and the water had Propel like electrolytes in it.
Oh, my
so
God.
I was like, well,
Can't-
screw it.
oh, my
I can't
gosh.
do it. So
I think some of that's just a little bit too much.
what?
I can't have a drink of water.
Well,
What's
I would have been okay with the drink of water, and I would have left the meds being taken. But when I did
Yeah.
the electrolyte stuff and drank
Yeah.
that, I was like, first of all, I'm not supposed to be drinking.
Is
but
it really going to screw up the test?
I don't know, but I'm not going to take the chance of having to come back and do it again.
I think that there's probably some things you're probably not supposed to do,
Yeah.
and they just said we can't give a list of all the things they can and can't do. Let's just not let them do anything.
Well, I think that's probably the easiest way to combat that, except when you
Yeah.
screw up and then you're like, well, I'll just do it tomorrow.
Well, like
It's
when
all
you go in for an operation, they don't want you to drink anything, right?
right. No,
Or
no,
even
no.
afterwards. You're not supposed to drink anything afterwards.
Well, I don't know. After you wake up, it depends on what it is. I guess they'll let you have something to drink.
Oh.
Like in the
Ice
hospital in
cubes.
recovery, it's
Yeah,
juice or ice cubes or whatever.
Yeah, it was always funny to me that they'll let you chew on ice, but they won't let you drink water. Well, you
It's
know,
all the same.
when the water and when the ice melts, it turns to water.
Yeah. Well, I think that's just the volume, don't you think?
Well, I'm thirsty.
Well, too bad. So sad. Anyway, that kind of discombobulated my morning, and
Oh,
that's how it goes.
did you go to the doctor?
No, I
yeah.
blew it off because I thought, well, I went ahead and had my
I
coffee and
I
all
see.
that,
I see.
because I thought, well, it could be a screw up, so I didn't do it.
So did you call the doctor's office and tell him you
No,
weren't
they
coming?
don't care what day I'm coming in. They just know
Oh.
I'm coming in the morning.
Wow, what doctor did you go to?
Well, I've already been to the doctor. This was
They-
just, I wasn't NPO when I went because my doctor's visit was mid-morning, and I thought, I'm not waiting until mid-morning. I'll
Wow.
go by. I do this.
Well, I missed an appointment.
Oh, you did.
I missed an appointment, and I got a letter.
What
I got a
is-
letter.
Did you have to pay for your missed appointment?
No, but
That's the thing.
they were giving me a strike one of 3.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. I thought that was a little. And here's the thing. The doctor made the appointment without letting me know
So they
until the day of, and said
Oh, that's
sent me a message, and that's the thing. And I called up and I said, and I'm kind of a person that if somebody does you wrong, and you know that it's not the right thing to do, you need to bring it to their
I
attention.
agree.
So I called and I waited on the phone for 25, 30 minutes to get through, because it's a big organization up there and wherever. I'm not going to say where, but I got a hold of somebody and I says, I need to talk to somebody about this. I'll give them the message and they'll get back with you. Never did. So who's at fault here?
Them.
I mean, I did miss the appointment, but they scheduled the appointment without notifying me
I think
till
it
the
was
day of.
Yeah, it was a combination. It was a combination of errors, but it started with them.
Yeah, it's their policies.
You can
policies will
blame it on
steamroll
the
you.
patient, but if you
Yeah.
don't, I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah,
have you been following the riots around?
a bit,
A little bit.
a little bit.
It's kind of a it's not such a big deal anymore. I mean, I people aren't wearing masks anymore, and they're kind of walking around peacefully with their flags and stuff. And I'm going, yeah, this is peaceful demonstration.
Mm-hmm.
This is okay.
Mm-hmm.
Keep doing that if you want. Just don't get in the street.
Right.
Don't get run over. Don't do things stupid.
That, and don't involve other people in your delay or whatever it is. Like, get out of the street.
Yeah,
that kind
but
of thing.
I think the law enforcement's doing exactly what they're supposed to do. They're not being they are being a little aggressive. They're saying, they have a curfew there, and they're saying, time to go
Mind the
in.
curfew.
Yeah, and
So
it's,
they're law and order, and if you follow law and order, whether you like it or not,
Right.
whether you think it's right or not, but that's law and order, then you better just
right.
do that.
Have you ever watched these videos where people get pulled over and they won't roll the window down and they won't give them their names and stuff like that?
Who are these people?
Oh, I don't know. And to some point, I think that they're within their rights to whatever.
Yeah,
But I think there's a little antagonistic
defiance.
defiance going on there, and it's like just if you were speeding, you're speeding, and usually these people, not everyone, but some of them. It escalates to the point where they're tased and they're pulled out of the car, and then they have drugs in the car. So I realize that they don't want to get caught. But it's just like, if you're not breaking the law, give the law enforcement what they want and go on your way.
Now, there are some shady law enforcement people, so you have to be careful there too.
Yeah, and you won't know that because
No.
this is probably the first time you've met this person.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know, and some of them are bent on their power.
Yeah.
There
are
you're going to
some
do what I tell you to do,
shady
blah, blah, blah.
officers. Yeah.
But,
And I've always read, I always felt like I had to stop ASAP if I got pulled over, which
Right.
I only got pulled over like twice, but and I've learned, I just roll my window down or whatever, not manually, but
Yeah.
anyway, roll my window down. But I'm thinking it's not such a bad idea, especially at night, if you get pulled over,
Yeah.
to just do a little where you can exchange with the person and being able to talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
But do they have a right to ask you to roll your window down? Stuff can happen when you get late or
Yeah. Yeah, especially and a lot of times at night they're shining the light in your face, and you're
scared to
you
death.
You
Or
don't
I
see
am.
who they are. They
Yeah.
may have a flashing light, but you can buy those.
Those people,
anywhere,
there's people that
You
will.
got to be careful.
Yeah.
I was pulled over by a highway patrol guy on a 2-lane road around Eureka, outside of Eureka Springs, and it was kind of raining, and I pulled over immediately, but it was kind of like in the grass, and my tire was still on the road, and he pulled up behind me, and when he came up, I said, "Do you mind if I go down the road a little bit further
Yeah.
so we're both safe?" And he
Yeah.
goes, "Yeah, I'll be right behind you." And I thought, wow, that was kind of nice that he allowed me to do that. And I thought, well, he'll just give me a warning. But he went ahead and gave me a ticket.
Oh.
The guy was
But
speeding.
it's safe. It's safer. Get
Yeah.
off the road, or if there's a place to pull off. But yeah, I don't know. If you keep driving, if you slow down though and drive, they surely know you're looking for a place to pull over.
Right.
Sure.
Sometimes people don't pull over though. They want to go home to their driveway.
You messed up with whatever you did.
Yeah, it gets a little bit hairy.
You're
Anyway,
hairy.
I guess it rained overnight.
I guess.
Did you wake up hearing the thunder
I did.
and the rain?
I did.
I did too.
Yeah.
So you want to tell us a little bit about
There's
the
a
weather?
chance of showers today, in case you hadn't noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Then possibly a thunderstorm this afternoon, high near 77. Precipitation chance is at 80% with a quarter of an inch. You could get higher amounts as well. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms likely, then possibly a thunderstorm after 3 a.m., low of 66. Precip chance is 80%. And Friday night, showers and possibly a thunderstorm, high near a 78. Again, it's going to rain. It's
Yeah,
80% chance of precipitation on Friday day. Friday night, a 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms with a low of 66. Then Saturday, a chance of showers and thunderstorms are possible after 10 a.m., but only at 30% right now. Saturday night, a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms with a low of 68. And then tell us about Sunday.
Well, if you're interested in what Sunday's weather will be, it looks like it's going to be a 30% chance of showers with a high of 85. Overnight low is 69 degrees with a 30% chance of rain still in the forecast. Monday, 40% chance of showers and with a high of 88. Low 69 for the overnight low. Tuesday, high 92. Ooh, 92.
That's getting on up there.
Yeah, and then Tuesday night, low 72, and then a chance of rain comes back into the forecast on a Wednesday with a high of 91 degrees.
So your Father's Day forecast is 30% chance of rain.
Now, when is that? Is
Sunday.
it Sunday?
Sunday.
Is it always on
Dude.
Sunday?
It's always on Sunday.
Okay.
And how long have you been alive? How long have you been a dad?
Is it always on Sunday?
It's
I
always
didn't know.
on Sunday.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Is Mother's Day always on a Sunday?
Yes, it is.
I didn't know that. Some things that are really stick out in my mind, and
That's not
other
one
things
of them.
don't. That's
No,
not one of them.
That's not one of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, our guest today, hopefully they will show up. Hopefully so. Hopefully
they
so.
will. Come
Chris
on.
Parks was scheduled to be here for Century 21 Realty, and we're going to talk about real estate marketing trends.
This thing doesn't have the right description, so I will fix it.
No.
Y'all, it's the little goobers in the computer system that go. Just
While she's doing that,
kidding.
we're gonna do our topic to ponder open.
Get up, get moving, get those thinking caps on. It's time to ponder this topic.
This week's topic to ponder is on the topic of regrets, and today's question is: do you see a regret as a burden or a teacher?
Both. No, a teacher.
A teacher.
I think
Okay.
that was my first response.
Well, I guess if you regret, it is a burden to have that feeling. But ultimately, I guess anything in life that makes you learn a lesson would be a teacher.
If you don't live in that, if you don't live
Yeah.
in that burden,
Have you ever met somebody that's just in total regret all day?
I don't know about all day, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, but and I feel a lot of times, or some of the experiences I've had, they bring some of that on themselves. Do you know what I mean? Living in that place. Now,
Right.
I know it's hard. I don't know all the ins and outs of having to get out of that place, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yesterday we were talking to Michelle Ritchie, which was she's a missionary, and she was talking about doing missionary work in different countries, and she's been in 5 or 6, 7 different countries.
Yeah.
And we were asking her about that, and I said, how do you finance something like that? And she goes, well, just God
Yeah, provides.
provided. And you think, how do you put yourself in such a positive stream to see that miracle happen or that opportunity reveal itself from nothing? How does the money just come from nothing? And I think that I think that we are, we're spiritual people inside of flesh body, and I think that if you're a faith-based person, you're supposed to believe in miracles. You're supposed to believe in the impossible. And I think that's what we should do in our daily life, is to be positive as much as we can. And
That's exactly what she's doing.
right. Yeah, and I think that was just an amazing story that she, and those trips aren't cheap.
No,
You
they're
think,
not.
well, it's just there. She got on a cargo plane and she paid $50 and they took her to India. No, I mean, she had to come up with thousands and thousands of dollars to get there. But anyway, that was something.
But that's just your faith. It's all about your faith.
Yeah.
And truly believing.
And it's good to live in a positive existence all day long, 24/7, if you can.
Yeah.
So today's topic to ponder on regrets. Do you see a regret as a burden or as a teacher?
What did you say? Teacher? You're a teacher? You think teacher?
Did I say teacher? As a teacher, yeah.
Yeah. Is
Yeah.
that what your thought?
Yeah, I
your
think so.
response
Yes,
is, right?
absolutely. Everything's teacher, a teaching moment.
Teacher, where are you? Teacher for sure. If you let it go, a burden. Teacher, hopefully.
Yeah.
Everybody's like a lesson teach.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Everybody's in a positive mode.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yep.
All right, let's do some history.
We're doomed to repeat ourselves, so let's find out what happened today in history.
I expect the parties to continue bargaining and to find an early solution. I promise you that I myself will be closely monitoring this process.
60. What?
That's
Okay,
number
this
2.
is
I'm sorry.
44 years ago today. Major League Baseball players went on strike. It would last 49 days, but on this day, Baseball Commissioner Bowie Kuhn
That's
hoped...
Bowie. Bowie Coon.
Bowie. That's
Yeah.
even worse. Sorry. Bowie Kuhn hoped it would be short. Sorry.
That's fine.
I heard the shots go off. I made it to Mr. Everett's side and attempted to get him aid. He never regained conscience to the extent that you would be able to understand anything that he said.
This was back in 1963, 62 years ago today. Civil rights leader Medgar Evers was ambushed and shot dead in front of his Jackson, Mississippi home. Neighbor Hudson Wells was next door when Evers was attacked.
And the next one, 44 years ago today, the first Indiana Jones movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark, premiered in the United States. We all recognize that theme music.
Theme music. Ba-ba-da, ba-ba-da-da-da.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
This was 38 years ago, standing near the Berlin Wall, which the communists had built to keep people from fleeing to the West. President Reagan issued a challenge to the leader of the Soviet Union. East Germany shocked the world by opening the wall in 1989. A few months later, Germany was reunified as communist governments in East Europe crumbled.
A passerby walking down the sidewalk observed the bodies of a female white, approximately 30 years old, and a male white, approximately 30 years old.
31 years ago today, O.J. Simpson's ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend Ron Goldman were found brutally murdered at her Los Angeles home. The next day, a police spokesperson described how the crime was discovered. 5 days after the murders, Simpson was officially charged with the crimes. He was, of course, acquitted at trial.
Just go pop, 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 pop. Stop for about 2 seconds. Pop, 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 pop. Stop for another second. Pop, pop. Like it was just continuous.
9 years ago today, back in 2016, a gunman opened fire at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando. He killed 49 in what was the time America's deadliest mass shooting. This man survived it.
But I don't know where my son is. No one can tell me where my son is. If he's been shot, if he's dead, no one knows.
9 years ago today, a gunman opened fire at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando. He killed 49 people in what was at the time America's worst mass shooting. That woman feared her son would be among them.
The last thing my friend texted me was, "Please help me. Help me. I've been shot."
Wow.
Demetrius Nawlings survived that. That was the shooting at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando. He lost a close friend.
Wow.
My meeting with Chairman Kim was honest, direct, and productive.
7 years ago today, President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un met in Singapore and signed a joint statement agreeing to work toward denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula.
That was perfect.
It's over. The game is over. The series is over. The wait is over. And the St. Louis Blues are the Stanley Cup champions for for the first time in franchise history.
This is back in 2019. 6 years ago today, the St. Louis Blues won their first Stanley Cup, defeating the Boston Bruins in Game 7 of the finals. Chris Kerber had the final call on the Blues radio network.
He's to midfield. He's going to go all the way. 40, 30, down to the 20, down to the 10, 5. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. 75 yards.
84 years ago, the Marv Albert was born. It was 1941.
Okay.
If I get in trouble, I get in trouble. But you're not getting rid of me.
This is a birthday cut. 63 years ago today, actor Paul Schultz was born. His roles include pharmacist Eddie on Nurse Jackie.
Nurse Jackie.
All right, we're going to take our first break, and when we come back, we will be... What do you want to do?
Nothing. We need some foo-foo we have to talk about later. But I guess we can do it now a little bit before we go out. How about we talk real quick about go to Dick's 5 and 10
okay.
and sign up for a $100 shopping spree that they will be giving away. They do that every week.
Yeah, there's I don't know why they're silly to be giving away all that shopping spree
Hey, but
money.
Do it. Go visit Dick's 5 and 10 in Branson,
Cash in
downtown.
All right.
All right.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have Chris Parks from Century 21 talking about marketing trends in the area. Might be a good time to buy or sell a home.
Might be.
We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to Around the Table. We are already hitting the ground running with a conversation with our guest in the studio, and I didn't get the get your friend's name. Chris Parks is in the studio with us from Century 21, and we're trying to talk about marketing trends, but we got off on cookies and memory and all kinds of different things. What's your name, sir?
Dennis Lape, L-A-P-E.
Okay.
Dennis Lape, okay, and he is known as the Cookie Man. So if you've seen him sitting alongside of the road selling cookies, you're the
Hudson's.
man. Okay, you've been at Hudson's. What kind of cookies do you sell? Because this is going to make it or break it.
Chocolate chip.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh.
And I can make oatmeal raisin.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you been making cookies a long time?
I've done it. I started out, I had made 24 dozen, sold, went to farmer's market on a Saturday from 8:30 to 11:30. I sold 20 dozen.
Okay,
Oh, my gosh.
But back then my price was $7 a dozen. I was in the hole, so I had to kick the price up so I wouldn't be in the hole
Would
where
you
I
kick
could
it
make
up?
some money.
Did you
Kicked
kick it up to
$10.
$7.25? Oh,
No,
$10.
$10.
Okay.
And people still buy them.
You bet.
Yeah.
You bet.
Now, how much do you get for $10?
A dozen.
A dozen donuts.
Yeah.
Or a dozen cookies.
Dozen cookies.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did
All
you
right.
bring them with
fresh.
you? Did you bring them with you?
I didn't know I was going to be here, or I would have made some. I sold 8 dozen yesterday.
He's
Well,
a
good
busy
for you.
man in Lead Hill there on
Oh,
the side
yeah.
of the highway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
we're kind of here to talk about real estate, and
Yeah.
how come y'all are tag teaming this morning?
Yeah. What's
Well,
the...
you know, we go back a long ways.
Okay.
Dennis has been a customer of mine for a long time. So
Ain't that
Does
the
it
truth?
give you a free cookie every now and then?
once in a while, you know, give me a free sample, then the next thing you know, you got to buy a dozen of those.
I know, that's
a
right.
good strategy.
Exactly.
That's strategy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you guys are looking at property today?
Well, we're looking at some property. Yeah, we're looking around, and Dennis has got something probably we're going to sell, you know, and that type of thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Kind of sell one by one kind of
You bet.
thing. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, the real estate market has just been crazy the last couple years.
It has been. It has been. It's been up and down.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
a little bit of uncertainty out there.
Yeah.
But overall, the market, you know, it's. I think for what we've been through the last 2 years, you know, things are still moving.
Yeah.
You know, we're
Sure.
What-
still selling stuff. People
Yeah.
still need to move and job related
Yeah,
and
sure.
family related. You know, so things are still moving. So I'm pretty satisfied with the situation of some uncertainties in their economy now that stuff is still
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
moving as well as it is.
Well,
you know.
interest rates are at a more desirable amount.
They are right now. The last time I checked, the 30-year mortgage conventional loan is around 6.5%, and if you can do a 15-year mortgage, it's down in the high fives.
Oh, wow.
15.
Okay.
You know, so,
Okay.
of course, if you can buy down a little bit in origination points, you can get them a little less than that.
Right.
You know, so
What I like to do is you could go on some of these sites and you could see your property,
right.
and they have an estimate of what it's valued. My property has gone up tremendously
Yes.
in the last couple years.
Yes,
I like to see. That's almost like I've got the stock market on my side or something.
there you go. And of course, yeah, if you're a seller and you've owned a home for a few years before, COVID hit and stuff, then
Yeah.
you have a bunch of equity in your
Yeah.
home right now,
Yeah.
which is a good thing to have that kind of security and stuff. And
Is it good to buy? Back in the 70s, people were buying property around here like hotcakes, and they were investing in that property. Is it still advantageous for somebody to be an investor in real estate?
it is, as long of course, if you're an investor, you've got to buy it right.
Right.
And a big advantage for a lot of the investors is they're able to pay cash for a lot of their properties. So
Yeah.
really, interest rate does not affect
Oh, yeah.
does
Right.
not affect the majority of those
Mm-hmm.
investors. So yeah, we still get calls all the time from people. Hey, if you see a good deal, this
Yeah.
is what I'm looking for, and I'm a cash buyer. So yeah, so they're still looking to buy and invest, and there's people still looking to buy and remodel, fixer uppers to
Yeah.
flip them to make
Yeah.
some profit there. So. Yeah, the economy's not died by no means, so we're still just going on doing the daily stuff we normally do.
Yeah.
You know?
Are you seeing that there's more people moving to this area that are looking for specific kind of properties?
Yes, there is. We've always had a big facet of folks that are the big city people. They're ready to get out of the big cities. They love this area. Of course, we're biased because we love it too.
And they'll pay. They usually pay top dollar too, don't they?
They do, and usually top dollar in our area is still quite a bit less than other areas of the of the country and stuff. So. You know, it's still a bargain, you know, compared to the property values where they're moving from. So for years and years, you know, I would work with buyers that came in and they'd say, well, my standard of living for my retirement will be much higher in Harrison, Arkansas than it would have been if I'd have stayed in the state I was in. They literally could come in, sell their home in a state they're in, come here, buy a house as good or better than what they sold.
Yeah.
Pay cash for a new motor home and still have money in the bank account from the sale of their home in another area.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I've noticed that properties after Johnny Morris has bought Dog Patch, that southern part of Boone County and Newton County, the property has gone up too.
Yes, it definitely has. When Johnny came in and bought the old Dog Patch, you know, the value of property in Newton County has definitely gone up as well.
Yeah.
You add the COVID factor in with Johnny Morris purchasing the old Dog Patch, and it's hopping down around the Buffalo River.
If he only get it finished.
Yeah, he can. Yeah, and Johnny's known to take his time.
Yeah, he's
But when he gets finished with it, you know, I know it's going to be something spectacular.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, I was going to
say,
say, back in my mom sold real estate many years ago, but back in that day, the real estate agent was very interactive in finding properties. And now I notice there's also a trend of we can go look things up, and then you contact your real estate, but you kind of have an idea of, you know, what you want and just start researching yourself. But you still are, this real estate market still will work with you specifically. You know what I mean?
Sure,
not that you have to go. You tell them what you want rather than you having to go look it up.
That's the main thing that has changed just since I've been in real estate for 23 or 4 years. Is used to, you know, people would drive to the office. We would sit together at my desk and look at the computer together through a list of homes, and we would pick out together what they wanted to go see. And now they look all that up on their own, and they actually call us and tell us what they want to go see. So you know, so we don't have a lot of office time with folks like we used to. We just meet them at the first house they want to see, and we show.
But
them.
you would do that.
Oh yeah, we still. That's great. You know, if we can't find anything with what they've chosen on their list, and sometimes they'll say, "Well, could you help search maybe and see if there's anything else?" And we're glad to do that and help in any way that we can.
I think you work just as hard though. Because
we do.
When you get a client, you kind of know what they want, and I'm sure real estate or listings come in last minute. You call them first,
right?
So
you know,
I'm sure you sell that way.
We check the hot sheets every morning.
Right.
You know, you come to work, get your cup of coffee, check the hot sheets. You know, because you've always got people, if they couldn't find exactly what they're looking for, we'll have a list of folks, price points they're in. That type of thing, and of course, if there's something hits in their price point with the number of beds and baths and acreage, then certainly they'll get a quick phone call from their agent for sure.
That price point's the deal killer.
There you go. The price point usually always is. It's pretty normal for most people to want to purchase something just out of their price point. You know? And a lot of times though, agents are able to help negotiate that price point down where they can actually get something a little larger, you know, than they anticipated. That's always a fun, exciting time. That's a plus when that happens.
So that haggle factor is still available.
There you go. Yeah. We're the real estate agents are pretty good at negotiating. So yeah, it's a good thing to have a good agent in your corner that can talk the talk and know strategies to use, and you do it for a living every day, so you get pretty good at it when you do it for a living.
Go ahead, Dan.
No, I was just going to say, what's an average price home right now that most people are buying? What price range?
Right now, the price range, I'd say probably under 300, under 300,000. And of course, that's changed a lot in the last few years. It used to be under 200.
Right, yeah.
So now anything under 300, there's a large facet of the population that can afford something that's under 300 grand. And so when you get above that, it slows down a little bit just because the number of people that can afford it, gets a little smaller. And of course, anything that's down under 200, if it's decent now, it still sells really quickly.
Yeah.
Sure.
But it's that $450,000 home that you just salivate over, don't you?
Yeah, that's it. You like, I can go up to 300, but man, this one for 400 or 450 looks great.
Boy.
So it's always it's always been that way.
Yeah. Well, how can people get a hold of you? Are you too busy to take on a new client?
No, never too busy to take on a new client. And we've got several agents, at Century 21. So, if something happens and I'm out of pocket, we all believe in sharing. Our motto is, we'd rather make something as nothing. So, we don't mind splitting, and sharing and people and stuff. And our main goal is to service the customer, So,
do you stay in the office most of the day, or are you in and out, gone?
I stay a little more now since I'm the broker owner of the office than when I was just an agent, so I've got a few more responsibilities. I've got more paperwork, and I actually help the other agents, obviously being the broker. But the fun part, is still getting out with people, meeting folks, looking at property, listing property. That's still the
getting a few ticks and chiggers.
Getting a few ticks and chiggers, that's always the fun stuff right there. But I'm in the office more now, but I do still list and sell, and I really enjoy that part as well.
Well, good.
Where's Century 21 located?
Well, we are on Highway 65, 906, Highway 65, 62, 65 North. We're next to Nature's Wonders.
Used to be the old High Boy.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
You remember that?
Yeah, Shirley Plumley and Rita Huff, they've been there for a while. They remember when it was the High Boy restaurant. Exactly.
Yeah. Wow.
Back in the day.
Back in the day.
So, so they tell some stories about that and stuff.
Good.
And I can tell a little bit sometimes the slope of the floor, and there's like still one area, there's a drain in the floor, and you're like, okay, it was a restaurant, so I can see
why
a little
you need
bit
a drain.
why you might need a drain in the floor, right?
Yep.
Well, Chris, thanks so much for coming in. What's your phone number? What's your main office number down there? Do you know?
It's of course it's 870-741-3408. It's our main line.
All right.
All righty.
Make some more cookies. When are you going to be available for cookies again?
Let's see. Today's Thursday. When I get home, I got to figure out. I've got a new cookie that I've got to experiment with.
Oh my gosh!
So that will be chocolate chip, oatmeal raisin, and this other one.
Okay.
But
you always have chocolate
He's keeping
chip.
the suspense up
We'd
there
kind of
for
like
us.
to know the scoop of that name.
The
Do you know what it is?
Well, one will be butterscotch. And there is one that it's called cinnamon.
Okay.
Ooh, I love cinnamon.
Yeah.
So has the rain kind of hampered your sitting out on the
Nope, because I make cookies like at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, good grief.
He can move up on the front porch that's covered on his home there.
I gotcha. Okay.
From our house to Bullshoes Lakes, we're only maybe 4 miles away.
Okay.
Oh, good. All right.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming in, guys.
Thank you. We appreciate it anytime.
All right. All right, man. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we got more for you from Around the Table with Dan and Ann. Stay with us.
KHOZ.
Welcome back to Around the Table with Dan and Ann. It is a Thursday, and it's about 15 minutes before the top of the hour.
I want to mention that Baxter Health Ambulatory Center Surgery Center's got the ribbon cutting Monday, and Lisa Johnson and I will be out there together for a live remote from 11 to 1, but the ceremony will be from noon to 1, and they'll also have food, and they'll have hot dogs, chips,
You're going to be there at 11?
Cookies. Yes, I have to
You
be there
and-
at 11.
You and
Me
Lisa Johnson.
Lisa Johnson.
And what will you be
She's,
doing?
she's doing the live remote for New Country 102.9,
Right.
but I'm just kind of there to represent the original KHOZ 94.9 AM.
All right.
So,
Are you going to wear a KHOZ hat?
no, but I will wear a
shirt?
shirt, I suppose.
Oh, you got a shirt.
I guess I
Okay.
get to wear it to work. So there you go. Okay, that's all.
And
from
this will be at the new
the
Baxter
new surgery. Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I kept interrupting you.
No, that's fine.
And they'll have all their doctors there, all that.
Okay.
So
they'll be on display. You
Well,
can-
I'm assuming so. I know I don't think they have practice or whatever.
I'm sure they will postpone all of their surgeries for that day so they can.
Well, they're not even open for surgery.
Well, I know. Yeah, that's
so,
why
yeah.
they'll be there
So they'll be
to
there.
hobnob with all the.
You betcha.
All the people.
And
okay.
meet the people.
Brian Wilson died
Yeah.
yesterday. Actually, Brian Wilson, if you don't know who that was he was one of the founders of the Beach Boys. He was the oldest one. I think he was the last surviving member of the Beach Boys.
Yeah, he was.
And he's kind of a weird guy. He went through a depression, I think, at one point and locked himself in the house for years.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
He was, I don't know. He was a genius as far as a lot of people were concerned. And there's a lot of facts about him that I didn't know. And here's a few of them. He used to stuff sand in his piano so it would feel like he was playing at the beach.
That's a way to destroy a piano. Okay.
He also he heard melodies in weird everyday things like vacuum cleaners.
Interesting.
Yeah. By the time he was 24, he had written 24 top hits.
Wow.
Top 40 hits. And his daughters, Carney and Wendy, followed in his footsteps, in his musical footsteps, and they are 2/3 of the band Wilson Phillips.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Fun facts about Brian Wilson.
Maybe his genes passed along to his children.
Perhaps.
Anyway.
So, I don't know. Well, there's a guy that won the lottery, but he won it like 3 times.
How many times?
3.
How many was big cash prizes or?
This guy in Canada who just won the 4th jackpot, the retiree from Alberta, admits he really has nothing else to do but to play the lottery. He won 3 jackpots in the last 9 months, scoring about $3 million.
Oh boy!
And that's after $250,000 in 2015. He's got something.
What I would want to know is the rate of return. Meaning, how much money did he spend on, because he had nothing else to do, how many of those jackpot, lottery tickets did he buy?
To be able to...
did he spend $1 million?
A bunch,
Yeah.
The chance of that happening is like 1 in 68 million.
Oh, boy.
On $13 worth of tickets.
That's it?
That's what this says.
Oh, my gosh.
And he's going to keep playing, so he may still be winning. And sorry for all the other people who don't get a chance to
Some
win.
some people are just in that groove.
They are.
You ever seen somebody just so lucky every day? You go, how the heck can that guy just keep either winning or making more money and, that kind of thing?
And yes, and don't you see the other side of the coin, where people who are always just the victim type.
Yeah, I know. But just everything happens to them.
I know. It's crazy.
Everything bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Ugh. Yeah. With all of this ICE agent and stuff's going around, there's a lot of fakery going on.
Fakery?
Yeah, a lot of fakery and scams. There's a couple stories here. Did you hear about the ICE agent going around Philadelphia? Well, he's wanted for ripping off $1,000 in cash from a repair shop He pulled up in a white van, fully checked out with tactical gear, yelled "Immigration," and tied up the worker there. Cops think he picked up the victim for their ethnicity, but he got their citizenship wrong when they found out he was an American. You got to know.
You got to know, I guess. There's a new scam, too, that federal officials say that you've been getting reports of fake Border Patrol agents calling Americans, claiming to have a package of drugs addressed to them. I don't think I would claim that that's mine. Then the scammers say they'll call the cops on you if you don't give them your personal information. The U.S. Customs and Border Protection Agency says they've never asked for money over the phone. So if you get one of these scam calls, you need to report it to the FTC.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't. There's so many scammers out there. I get text messages now quite frequently. You know, I've got a recruiter after me. If it doesn't make sense, you don't know the person.
Yeah.
Don't respond.
Right. It would be nice to, and they're using a phone or email or some kind of electronic technical way of getting information to you or trying to get you to give them money. It would be nice for something to happen to where there's a way to track these people down when they do this.
Yeah.
And that would stop immediately.
Yeah.
So we have to take one more break, and when we come back, we'll have more exciting stuff for you from around the table with Dan and Ed. Stay with us.
Around the Table, streaming live on Facebook and Hometown TV, channel 26.1.
And welcome back to Around the Table. We've got some weather coming in. I think we've got about a 30% chance of showers this afternoon.
Yo.
So high in the mid-80s. So, dress accordingly.
Yes.
Or take some clothes off.
Or
if
whatever
it gets
you
that
need
hot.
to do.
Whatever you need to do.
We talk about AI on here because that's like up and coming and really in our face right now.
Right.
But like our dogs, make a certain sound, and don't you wonder what they're saying?
Yeah.
Scientists at a Chinese company have applied a patent whereby they would use artificial intelligence to translate animal noises into human language.
Oh, that's cool.
Their goal is to use AI to analyze animal sounds, body language, and behavior, then determine the appropriate emotion and convert that emotion into a target language like Chinese or English, whatever.
Okay.
The company was one of the first major Chinese companies to invest in AI.
Wow.
I just think that's kind of fascinating.
AI is going to, we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg of what AI will do. Excuse me. You've seen these little things you can buy, and they're for dogs, and they're little buttons, and they make noises.
Yes.
And they light up, and they're
like
colored.
Pavlov's.
Yeah, and you put on little symbols like eat, drink, go pee pee, those kind of things, and you can train your dog to communicate with you that way.
It takes a lot of consistency.
Yeah.
Doing that.
Oh, you've tried it?
Well, just even training your dog at all to do any of it. You have to do it all the time. But I think that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, my son has a doorbell thing that his dog would hit
to
go out.
Right.
Except the dog got a little antsy and hit it all the time, and they quit it.
He just liked playing with the bell.
He would just go do it. He didn't want out.
That's funny.
But anyway, that's fascinating. I mean, they're not stupid animals, or most of them aren't.
I think they're limited as far as how deep their intelligence is, but they are pretty smart.
Perhaps we'll find out more about the intelligence of the animals through AI. I don't know.
Talking about animals, there's a man accuses postal worker of pepper spraying his dog.
Oh.
A Minnesota man is barking mad after he claims that a postal worker pepper sprayed his dog. He says his yard is protected by an electric fence, and the dog always barks when the mailman stops by. This time, though, he claims the postal worker sprayed the dog in the eyes with canine repellent.
What?
The U.S. postal worker says the mailman is no longer allowed to deliver to that address, and he's facing no criminal charges. The dog owners says that's not enough. That's not enough.
You want more, dadgummit? Okay, I'm looking at some that we've had here, Dan. Your boss could be tracking you with your AirPods. I think we talked a little bit about that, but there's certain tech experts that prefer to be called digital journal. The companies can track your location through your AirPods. So I guess if you're at work or not at work, your boss can track you through your AirPods. If you're just out sitting in your car or out doing something outside of work where you should be at work, don't have your AirPods in.
Don't have your AirPods in.
Don't wear the AirPods.
Okay.
Oh, me.
You know what today is?
What is today, Dan?
Today is Crowded Nest Awareness Day. A recent study found that the highest number of stay-at-home sons and daughters were in sunny, expensive cities like L.A. and Miami, where rent is out of control. Riverside, California had the most, where 1 in 5 working adults still live with their parents. And if you want an empty nest, Austin, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, and Denver have the fewest adults still living with mommy and daddy.
Well, all right then. National Woman Veterans Recognition Day. All right, we recognize our women veterans for sure.
Absolutely. Little League Girls Baseball Day. National Loving Day, the largest multiracial celebration in the U.S., marks the Supreme Court's decision in 1967 to strike down the laws banned interracial marriage.
Okay, we're out of time, aren't we?
We are out of time. So we'll see you again tomorrow. Thanks so much for being here. We'll see you again tomorrow.